What's up guys, Brickshine here with the completed Series 14 Monster minifigure series from LEGO, and you can see I'll kind of filter through and show you all of them before I start picking them up one by one, but there are a lot of really awesome different monsters and cool designs in this series. But we'll go ahead and start off with the first one here, which is the Wacky Witch. And of course, she does come with a black cat, which you can kind of see has some really nice details for a little printed kitty, which I'll go ahead and set behind there. And we get this really awesome witch with, of course, she does have a broomstick. And what I think is really nice about her is the fact that she does come with really nice printed legs all the way around. So you do get this nice, really looking kind of figure. And of course, she does have this really awesome witch hat. And of course, it's one piece with the hair on the back there, the crooked top. And there's the front of her face. Of course, no printing on the back, but she has some nice printing on the back there, which makes her a pretty nice minifigure, I think, overall. Go ahead and set her and her kitty back there. Next up, we have the Banshee, which is probably one of the coolest ghost figures LEGO has ever designed, with the new kind of ghost tail like they have in the new Ninjago series with a little bit different color, but it's clear, and she has some really cool printing on her face, like she's crying, and then no printing on the back, but she does have some nice printing on her torso, and a really awesome translucent hairpiece, which kind of adds to the effect of being a ghost or a banshee, so that's really cool. I think that's one of the nicest figures in this series. Next up, we have the Zombie Pirate, and you can see he kind of looks like he's been weathered, and he has this really cool kind of beard like they've been using a lot lately. He has one of the over-exaggerated swords, and of course he has no printing on the back either, or on the back side of his face, sorry. It's a really nice figure. There are some really detailed legs on the bottom here, which I think are pretty cool, and he has a really awesome looking pirate face. Next up, we have the Werewolf, which looks like the lumberjack from one of the earlier series, and he has some really cool printing on one of the best looking werewolves that LEGO has made, I think. He has some really cool printing all over the figure, all over the legs and the sides of the arm. And of course, he is one of the only werewolves that actually has a tail, which makes him kind of cool. And he does have this bone, which is a nice touch for a werewolf. Next up, we have the Skeleton Guy, which is basically a regular minifigure that is in a Halloween costume. As you can see, he has the mask on up here. Really cool printing on the side, and one of the coolest things that come with him is the fact that he has a trick-or-treat tail. I'm sorry, guys. And it looks really cool, has a lot of design. I just think they did a really good job with the printing on this figure. Even on the back there, it even has the string on the back side of his head. So I think if you're doing a Halloween kind of custom or stop motion, that's a really good figure to have. Next up, we have a Gargoyle, which is probably some of the most unique pieces LEGO has done for an individual figure in a while. We have this really nice headpiece at the top with the horns and the ears, and these really good looking wings on the back there. You could use that for a lot of different customs. Even the headpiece could be used and painted differently if you were into that, and you could use it for a lot of different things. However, he doesn't have a second face, which is kind of sad, but that's okay. I think they did a really good job with that. I think he looks really cool to set on a building or just use him as a monster or something. Next up, we have the Plant Guy, which, however, he looks more like a Poison Ivy villain to me. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but he kind of looks like a guy in a costume rather than an actual guy that turned into a plant, but that's okay. I mean, like, if you were doing customs or something with those kind of torsos, and I love the printing on the side of the leg there, makes it look really realistic. And we have, of course, his scared face, but he, however, has no printing on the backside of his head. But it is a really unique kind of Venus flytrap looking headpiece, which is pretty cool. And I think he's a really unique figure. I think they've done a really good job with every figure in this actual series. And next up, we have the Monster Rocker, which has probably one of the coolest guitars that LEGO has made. Most of the really cool guitars have come out of the minifigure series line, And I really like this Frankenstein's headpiece. It's kind of got a really cool like design on the back there. And shock and roll, there we go. And of course he doesn't have any printing on the front or on the back side of his head there, but that's okay because he has some really cool printing on the sides of his arms, and he just is a really awesome figure overall. Next up, we have the Spider Lady, which to a lot, most people think that this is actually a vampire. However, she is a Spider Lady, not a vampire, so that's kind of confusing, but she does really look like a vampire, though. She does have the teeth, but you know, that's just kind of a, you know, a looks thing. And she has a really awesome cape. It's made out of the really kind of tough plastic that Lego makes capes out of sometimes. And of course, she has this really spooky kind of hairpiece with, of course, she doesn't have a second printing on her face there, but she does have a really nice kind of Halloween or very creepy kind of design to her figure overall. Next up, we have the Tiger Lady, and of course, she is really well put together. I mean, like, this is the first time we've seen Lego kind of do a cat-like, like, individual figure like this, because it has a really nice hairpiece, and it has this kind of basic tiger tail there, and of course, there's her whip there, and of course, she has a really kind of a unique look. Almost every figure in this series has a very unique kind of look to them. And of course we have Squarefoot, which is basically Lego's Bigfoot. And of course there's his big feet at the bottom there. He has a really kind of nice look at the top, like a Yeti. And of course he is holding a camera because I guess Bigfoot wants to take a picture of regular people more than we want to take a picture of him. So I think that's kind of a nice joke that they put in there for that. Next up, we have the Zombie Businessman, and he is probably one of the best looking basic zombie figures Lego has ever made, and I really love his hairpiece. That is probably one of the best hairpieces Lego has come out with in a long time. You can use that for a lot of different figures. And of course, he has Zombie Times with brains written on the side there, and he does come with a briefcase. You see the printing on his arm there, looks like he's been tattered. No real printing on the other side there or on the back. And of course, it is kind of sad, but he has no second printing on his face, so that's okay. And next up we have the Mad Scientist. And of course, there is kind of a backstory with this one. He does have a kind of a chemical that he's carrying here with a fly on it. And of course, he has one of the most unique looking kind of headpieces there. As you can see, he has his weird glasses, but when you take it off, his face looks normal. And then he has the backside here, and of course there is no printing on his backside of his face, but he has some really cool printing on the front there. And of course, if you drink that serum, you will turn into the Fly Monster. And you can see he has some really cool looking features on him, like this really strange looking monster hand, and some really cool printing like a giant fly. And of course he has the wings on the back there. And this is, of course, one whole piece. So, I mean, like, that's really detailed. And of course, if you can see it through the light, it is translucent, so that kind of adds an extra effect to the whole, like, making him look a little more creepy. But I think they did a really good job with that, and it's kind of a backstory between these two figures. Next up, we have the Zombie Cheerleader, which has one of the best ponytail, or one of the only new modern ponytail hairpieces Lego has made, which I think they've done really good with that. And you can see she has some really nice printing all the way around the legs. And of course she has her pom-poms, which basically just attach like a cup or something. They just look really well hidden. You put them on like that, so that's really cool. And of course, it's really sad that she doesn't have a second side to her face, but I really like that figure. I really like all the new zombies. I'm glad they're making more of them. And our final figure in here is a Spectre, which has kind of a chain hanging down here that he's holding. He has a really nice kind of cape. Kind of reminds me of the Dementors that they came out with a long time in Harry Potter. However, one of the coolest things with this figure is, if I hold him up to the light here, you might be able to see. He does have a glow-in-the-dark face. However, I haven't let it charge, so you may not get to see it so well being glow in the dark, but his face does glow in the dark, and I think that is a really nice touch and it has a really nice tattered kind of back on the back of his cape there. Just think they did a really good job with that figure. But let me know in the comments below which one of these Series 14 monsters is your favorite and why they're your favorite. And let me know in the comments below, like I said, and I will see you guys next time.